So have you noticed any vomiting?
Yes, I have. I'm afraid if I found some sick on the carpets, my lounge cream carpet, just yesterday.
Right.
Which I suddenly realised always really not very well.
Can you describe what it looked like?
Yeah, it was quite yellow, I would say bright yellow,
Right.
and quite runny.
Right, okay.
A little bit lumpy, but yeah.
Did you see any dark spots, sort of like coffee greens in it?
Nothing as dark as that.
Right, okay, so basically yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And when did it start?
Well, I noticed it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first sign
Right.
that I'd seen. That, that obviously he's been sick.
Mm. And do you know how many times he has vomited over the past year?
Since that episode, a couple of times.
Right.
Once in his bed.
Mm-hmm. And would you say it has been getting better or worse?
I would say it's about the same.
Okay, good. Right. And have you noticed any diarrhea?
Yes, he has had diarrhea.
Okay.
Yes.
When did it start?
Probably about the same
Right.
time, probably yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that.
And yeah, do you notice how many times he has had diarrhea?
It's difficult to say because he's going out in the garden. I noticed a couple of spots, one in his bed and one outside, just on the path.
And can you describe what it looked like?
Fairly runny, probably sort of quite yellowish, I would say.
Right, yellow. And have you noticed any blood?
I didn't notice any, no.
And did it have a sort of darker colour than you expected, or was it just yellow?
Probably, no, I would say it's quite yellow.
Right. Okay, so all of this seems to have been happening over the past day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And have you noticed any change in his appetite?
He's not really eating.
And how long has this been going on?
Probably about a couple of days, I would
Right.
say.
Yeah. So would you say it also started at the same time? His vomiting, diarrhea, and he's not really eating.
That's right.
Right. What's he normally fed?
Dried food.
And how much is he fed?
Probably I would say a cup and a half of dried food.
Okay, dried
Once
food.
a day.
Right. Okay, good. And have you noticed any have you given him any snacks or any tidbits?
No, he gets a few dried biscuits
Right.
each day, but that's it.
Yeah. And have you changed his diet recently?
No, just keep it the same.
Same diet,
Yeah.
right. Okay. And have you noticed any change in his weight over the past?
No, I mean it's only a couple of days. It's kind of difficult to tell. He's quite hairy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
to-
It would be difficult to tell. Have you noticed any coughing?
No.
Any sneezing?
No.
Have you noticed him collapsing at any time?
No.
And any seizures?
No.
No. Have you noticed him itching a lot?
No, not really.
Just been himself in that respect. And have you noticed any hair loss?
No more than usual.
Right, yeah.
There's some hair on the carpet each day, but he's quite a hairy dog,
Right.
but not excessive.
Okay, good. Right. Have you noticed any change in how much water he's drinking?
I have, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And when did it first start?
Over the past day or so, yeah.
And how much would you say he's drinking?
The bowl in the house is probably a medium-sized
Right.
bowl, which I usually fill. I mean, he's just drained that. He's
Oh,
emptied
really?
that. Yeah.
Right. And have you noticed him drinking out of other sources like puddles, ponds?
He has, yes. When we've been outside on walks, he's been drinking from there as well.
Right.
He's quite thirsty.
So have you been taking him on walks?
Yes, I have. Yes, trying to exercise.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a normal routine that you do? Taking him?
Yes, we usually just sort of go in the car up to the woods.
Right, okay.
And then we have a walk. He's off the lead.
Right, okay.
Usually for that.
Good. And have you noticed any change in how much he's willing to exercise?
Well, he's not running around as much, I would say.
Okay, really? And have you just noticed that recently, or has that been going on for a while?
Well, probably recently when this all started, and certainly on his walks. I would say he's been more clingy.
Right, okay. Less willing to exercise and run around. Yeah. And have you noticed any change in how much he's urinating?
Yes, he's definitely urinating more, I would say.
Right, and does he let you know that he wants to go outside, or does he just do it in the house?
No, he's asking to go out.
Okay,
still.
he's asking to go
Yes.
out. Okay, good. And have you noticed any blood in his urine?
No, because he's going outside to do it. So
Right.
I haven't spotted it.
And do you see any difficulty in him urinating? Does he look to be in any pain or anything?
I don't think so. He doesn't look like he's in pain.
Right. Okay. Well, I think that's it for the general history. So we can just summarize and see what we've found, because we have found a few abnormalities in couples. So we've discovered that he is vomiting, and vomiting started about 2 days ago.
That's correct.
Yeah, and it's a bit yellow.
Yes.
Yeah, and he is also having diarrhea.
That's right.
That also started at the same time as the vomiting.
That's right.
And he's urinating more
Yes, he is.
and drinking more.
Yes.
Right. And he is a bit lethargic when you take him out on walks.
Yes, definitely.
And he's eating less.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So is there anything that I didn't cover that you noticed?
No, nothing that else I've spotted.
Right.
That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So we have the basic information. We have a good history, and the next step will be to do a physical examination on Copper. So, and then we'll come up with a diagnostic plan and see where we'll progress with him.
Okay.
So I'll start the physical examination by taking him to be weighed.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come here, Copper. Oh, good boy. Good boy. So it's important to do it in a sort of systematic approach, and you tell the client what you're going to do. So at the beginning it's called signposting. So you tell the client, okay, I'll be doing the history and then the physical examination, and then we'll discuss diagnostic approaches, because you can be doing the history and the client will be wondering, why isn't he even touching my dog? Why isn't he doing a physical examination on the dog? So it's important to tell the client what you're doing. And then when you're doing the actual history, it varies between vets, but some vets like to do it by systems. So I started by asking about the gastrointestinal system at first. So I asked about vomiting, I asked about diarrhea, I asked about weight loss, and I asked about appetite change. And whilst I was asking questions about certain symptoms, I was also asking questions to see the severity or when it first started. For example, when I asked about vomiting, I asked if the client had noticed any coffee grains. So this could be an indication of blood coming up from the stomach or any parts in the gastrointestinal tract. And it's also an important example to differentiate between vomiting and regurgitation. So because the client said that there was a yellow substance in the vomit, I sort of knew that it probably was coming from the lower part of the gastrointestinal tract, so the stomach and the small intestines, rather than it being in the esophagus and just coming straight back up. So, yeah. So then I asked about the renal system, so I asked about the kidney. So, well, there are several things that could cause excessive drinking and excessive urinating. So I asked about how much the dog has been urinating and how much he has been drinking. And I asked about any pain upon urination. And then I was asking about the renal system, but then the client mentioned that he drinks a lot when he's outside. So I decided not to be too lenient. I decided to go on and talk about the exercise, because I don't think you should be asking about renal system and just have it in your head, renal. And then even if the client mentions something, you just ignore that and you completely forget about that. So I decided to talk about the exercise and realize that he was exercising less